Well, it's 4:30 in the afternoon and I haven't turned a lantern on here in the cabin yet, so that's probably why this is showing up as being a bit shady. But I went today to a hardware store and I bought just a cheap oven thermometer, the kind that you hang on an oven rack or sit on an oven rack, $3 or $4, made in China type thing. But right now the temperature according to the door is just slightly over 400 degrees. And I opened it up a few seconds ago and looked in, and it was, well, it's gone up even more. You can see that. It was 525, now it's 550. So that's 150 degrees difference between the outside door temperature there and the temperature inside on the rack. So I think that was my problem. I'm going to now try regulating it a bit, turning down the burner until I get a decent temperature in there, and then I've bought yet another package of muffin mix, this time corn muffins. See how we make out today. Well, if you watched my previous muffin making attempt out here when they burnt on the bottom, my plan was this time to put the muffin tray inside of this baking tray with the grate, and then one of my watchers, one of my subscribers, has suggested adding water, and I thought that's a good idea too. However, there is a problem. That baking tray will only fit in the oven lengthways, and the muffin tray will only fit in the oven sideways, so that's not going to happen. I'm hoping with the reduced heat, now that I have a more accurate thermometer, that they won't burn on the bottom, but we'll know in a few minutes. Well, the oven door is showing right around 300, I guess. And the inside is a bit over 400, 420 or so. It's supposed to be 400 according to the recipe, but I think that's probably as good as we're going to get. 15 to 20 minutes. So I will check them in 10 or 15 minutes and see what I think's happening here. Well, next to the oven, I have the thing that I discovered this is what we make in Canada. You can see that on the lip there, stamped in the metal. It's got the word Canada. And it's a Coleman toaster. I think the third one that I've had over the years. I think I sold one in a yard sale after I decided I wasn't going to camp anymore. I bought a second one and it wouldn't work on my gas stove because there isn't enough heat, so I purchased this today. Coleman purchased it over in Maine, but it's made in Canada. I think I'd feel better if I was sure that we were selling these into the Chinese market, but somehow I doubt it. Anyway, I'm going to light the stove under this, and see if I can make toast with it. I do not understand why the little Coleman camp stove burner gives so much more heat than the regular kitchen appliance does. I have cooked with propane gas in my kitchen for many years. I think I'm on my second propane stove. One of these will not work. You can turn your hottest burner up wide open and it will eventually dry the bread up and might start to turn it a little brown across the bottom. But this little thing throws out so much more heat than the large burners on a kitchen range do. I don't understand why. If anybody out there is an engineer or gas expert and knows and can explain this to me, please do. Well, it's been about 15 minutes and I think I'm going to declare them done before they burn up completely. Still very hard to regulate the temperature here. What do you think of my oven mitt? It's the dirty old glove that I use to put logs in the stove with. I still cannot remember to bring out a pot holder. Anyway, we'll let these cool a bit and then see if they burnt on the bottom again. It stuck to the paper when I was taking it off, but you can see it's brown on the bottom but not actually burnt. It gives you a better idea of what it looked like. Starting to get dark on the bottom. I think they have to cool longer and the moisture comes back out of the muffin so that they will release from the paper. Anyway, I managed to get some muffins out of it. I'm still not too terribly impressed with that little oven as far as baking in it goes. Maybe you can roast potatoes in it or something if they're wrapped up in several layers of foil. I'll give that a try soon. Potatoes and onions and all that good stuff, butter, garlic, whatever, in a foil poach, but I don't think it's going to work out too well for baking bread and muffins and that sort of thing. It's too hard to regulate. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. It's me again, back with muffin number 2. It came out of the paper much better, as you can see. Once it had cooled, and as I say, it steams the paper a bit, it comes off. And as you can see, it isn't really burnt at all. It's just a nice golden brown, so maybe my opinion of the thing's improving just a little bit. If I can watch it very closely and using that interior thermometer, I think maybe it can be used for some of these things. Once again, thank you for watching.